In this short video on resilience, we explore ways in which you can look after yourself and look after your team. Some organisations have started to formulate wellness action plans. These action plans, which can be for an individual or a team, are put together to help people understand some of the triggers that may affect mental health, also what some of the symptoms of poor mental health may be, and also what other people can do to support them. The action plans ask people to think about situations that may have a negative effect on mental well-being. It also asks them to identify what the early warning signs may be. What will they notice in themselves? What may other people notice? And what kind of support packages can be made available for them? This is an example of a school wellness action plan. It starts to explore the activities that could support mental well-being across the school. It starts to explore any triggers or situations that could have a negative impact on mental well-being. It starts to look at some of the early warning signs that could be noticed and what interventions can be put in place to help protect the mental health of staff. Both the individual plan and the school plan are working documents. They should be reviewed and they should be shared. They should be put on the agenda of meetings throughout the year. Are the actions still relevant? Are the interventions working? And it's this way that we can take a whole school approach to mental well-being. As well as considering individual and team wellness action plans, it may be worthwhile giving staff access to either the Roffey Park or the Robertson Cooper resilience questionnaires. These are free and each produce an individual report that not only gives comments about resilience, but also helps people to think about an action plan through which they can develop resilience or hardiness. But what approaches can we take as individuals to develop our resilience? One concept worth exploring is this concept of locus of control, a phrase that was first coined by Julian Rotter in 1954 and further developed by Stephen Covey. Rotter's locus of control, or Covey's circles of influence, challenges individuals to categorize situations into three categories. The first category are those situations where people have total agency, total control of the outcome, and the outcome is determined by their actions. The second are those areas where they don't have any control, but they do have influence. They can influence the outcomes. The third area are things beyond control and influence, the external locus of control. Things that we cannot influence at all. These things will happen no matter what our actions are. If it is the third area, where things will happen no matter what actions we take, are we unduly worrying about these? Are these areas causing us stress or anxiety? Can we park these areas and really concentrate on the areas where we can really make a difference? In 1975, Ty Bikala brought us the concept of drivers, the ways in which we have learned to adapt to our environment. And we learned these ways when we were young, and they have become deep-rooted in our values and the way that we behave when we are under stress or pressure. Carla says that these drivers, formed when we were young, were formed to enable us to get approval from adults. And he identifies 5 drivers: be perfect, hurry up, try hard, do the job yourself, and please others. The concept is that we each have one or more of these drivers deeply embedded within us, and these drivers affect our perception of ourselves and our behaviour. But also they can cause stress and anxiety, especially if we believe we don't match or live up to those drivers. The drivers that govern our behaviours may be identified through our mannerisms or our non-verbal communication, but mainly through that inner critic that sometimes tells us what we're doing wrong and what we should be doing differently. And again, these drivers can have an impact on how we deal with stress. Have a look at this table for a few moments. Which of these drivers can you identify with? Can you identify with the stress response? And what can you do to change that inner voice and to challenge the drivers? If, for example, one of those drivers is be perfect, allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to fail intelligently. And remember, fail stands for first attempt in learning. If a driver is be strong, tell yourself it's okay to show a weakness. It's okay to ask for help, and people will help and support you. Spend a bit of time thinking about the drivers, thinking how they manifest themselves, think about the effects on you, and think about how you can create an alternative narrative. The next part of this video looks at some tools and techniques which you can use to look after yourself, to protect your resilience or develop resilience. These are tools. Some will work for you, some won't. Find something that works for you and practice. If it doesn't feel comfortable, put it back in the toolbox and try something else. Breathing exercises are one way of reducing anxiety or reducing stress. I'm going to share with you two very simple breathing exercises. The first technique is square breathing or box breathing. Taking just a few moments out of your day to concentrate and breathe deeply will calm your mind and body, giving you an opportunity to hit that reset button. So how do you do square breathing or box breathing? Firstly, make sure you're sitting comfortably, or alternatively, lie down. The important thing is that your body is open to allow the breath to flow freely. First, begin by slowly exhaling out all of your air from your lungs. Then, gently inhale through your nose to a slow count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top of the breath for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then gently exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at the bottom of the breath, pause and hold for a count of 4. And then repeat the pattern. Another breathing technique is the 4-7-8 breathing, which is based on a yoga technique called pranayama. First, find a place to sit or lie down comfortably. Be sure you practice good posture, especially when starting out. Let your lips part and make a whooshing sound to exhale completely through your mouth. Next, close your lips. Inhale silently through your nose as you count to 4 in your head. Then, hold for 7 seconds. Then, make another whooshing exhale from your mouth for 8 seconds. When you inhale again, you initiate a new cycle of breath. Try to practice this pattern for a full 4 breaths. You will get the most from your breathing exercises if you do them regularly and they become part of your daily routine. You can do the exercises standing up, sitting in a chair, or lying on a bed or a yoga mat, or even on the floor. The important thing is that you make yourself comfortable. Practicing and developing relaxation techniques is a great strategy for dealing with stress and anxiety. There are a number of apps on the market that can help with this. The first two that come to mind are Headspace and Calm. But here are a couple of relaxation exercises that you may find helpful. The first is a simple visualization exercise. Create in your mind an ideal spot to relax. It can be real or imaginary. Somewhere you will find restful calming, safe, and where you'll feel happy. Find or create a place you'd want to return to whenever you feel the need to relax. Imagine this place in as much detail as you can. Use all your senses to make it as real as possible. What can you hear? What can you see? What can you smell? What can you feel? And see yourself comfortably enjoying this space. Now combine this visualization with one of your breathing exercises. Close your eyes and take a slow, regular breath in through your nose. Become aware of your breathing. Focus on your relaxation place in all its detail and breathe out through your mouth. And try and do this exercise for about 10 to 20 minutes. Start with the muscles in the feet or legs. Feel any tension that you have in your lower legs or your feet and release that tension. This body scan can help boost your awareness of the mind-body connection. This final exercise is another form of body scan. This exercise will teach you to recognize and reduce muscle tension. You can relieve tension in any part of your body just by tensing and relaxing each muscle in turn. First, sit comfortably in a chair with your legs slightly apart and your feet on the floor. Close your eyes and concentrate on your breathing. Slowly breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Make a fist, squeezing your hand tightly. Hold this for a few seconds and feel the tension. Slowly open your fingers and feel the difference. Notice the tension leaving. Your hand feels much lighter and is relaxed. Enjoy this feeling. Next, move up to the shoulders and the muscles of the neck. Tense those muscles and again let them relax and let all the tension drain away. And repeat for other muscle groups. Sometimes when we're anxious and our resilience is low, we just keep on working. But we need to take a break. So what could you do which gives you that break? Stand up, walk away from the PC, go for a walk outside, make yourself a drink, have some water, go talk to some colleagues. Make sure that you build regular downtime into your schedule. In a similar vein to taking a break is the concept of me time. This is time that you give yourself. This is time that you use to regroup and refill your energy reserves. And this is especially important if you have a preference for introversion. It's also an opportunity to spoil yourself. So can you set a period in a day, part of a week, for time which is just for you to look after yourself, to treat yourself, read your favourite book, go for your favourite walk, listen to your favourite piece of music. It gives you time just to recharge your batteries. Give yourself that me time. It's not being selfish, it's looking after yourself. If you have children in your family, you will know the importance of a good bedtime routine. A routine that tells your children that it's time for bed. It could be a bath, a story, a glass of milk. And we carry out these routines time and time again with our children. Yet as we get older, we lose these routines. And it's important that we redevelop them to make sure we get a good night's sleep. We need to develop our own winding down processes. A warm bath, light-hearted reading or light-hearted television. Put away the laptop, the mobile, the iPad. Practice your breathing techniques. Think about your bedroom, how warm, cold, light or dark it is. And then practice your relaxation techniques. Relax the face, the shoulders, the chest, and clear the mind. There's plenty of advice out there about healthy eating. and that advice changes on a regular basis. We know what to eat and what not to eat. Unfortunately, sometimes when we're stressed and the resilience is low, our eating habits change. We don't necessarily pay that much attention on our diet. We need to maintain a healthy diet. Unfortunately, stressed, spelt backwards, is desserts. We just need to think about how our eating habits change when we're under pressure, when our resistance is low, our resilience is low, and try to make sure we maintain that balanced diet. Here's a technique that I find useful, especially if I feel that I haven't coped particularly well with a situation. I write down the details of that situation in as much detail as possible. What triggered those negative thoughts? I identify the mood and the feelings that I felt in the situation, not to relive them, just to review them. I then write down the automatic thoughts that I experienced that led to that mood. After I've written down the details of the situation, identified the mood, written down the automatic thoughts that popped into my head, I try and identify the evidence that supports those thoughts. Then I identify the evidence that doesn't support those thoughts. It helps me get a fair and balanced view of that situation. It helps me to put it into perspective, and I find that my mood lifts. This cognitive restructuring helps me put things into perspective. It helps me to review a situation in a logical and fair way. It takes away that big stick that I use to beat myself, and it allows me to identify a fair and balanced view of that situation, and it helps me learn for the future. Another tool or technique for relieving stress and developing resilience is exercise, and all the research mentions the importance of exercise. It is an outlet for that fight or flight response, but make sure it's not a contact sport. Rhythmic exercise or cardiovascular exercise is the best, and it releases those happy hormones. I know it's hard getting to do the exercise, but you feel a lot better afterwards. Setting the boundaries is a really important concept for me. It's something that says I'm no longer at work. It separates work from home life. I get changed. I have clothes that I wear when I'm working. I have clothes that I wear when I'm not working. It says, put the pen down, turn off the computer, you're no longer at work, close the door, walk away. Getting change was that important boundary for me. It was saying, I'm no longer at work. Put the pen down, switch off the computer, walk away. I've known people who have used landmarks on their journey to work. On the way home, they drive to this landmark, after which they don't think about work. They put the radio on, they sing. And then on the return journey back to work, they don't start talking about work until they reach that landmark. What boundaries can you set? What boundaries can you put in place that separates your work from your home or your social life? Here's a few examples. You may have others that work for you. You can also set boundaries at work. Have themed working days. Wednesday afternoon is my research afternoon. I look at the strategy development on the Monday morning. I block out time for emails or phone calls. I chunk them up so I can actually preserve the rest of the day for other activities. So we can actually set boundaries within the workplace. I also believe in the importance of stability zones. On my desk, I have some pebbles. And those pebbles were picked up off a beach in Southern Ireland many, many years ago. And when I pick up those pebbles and I close my eyes, I can remember the sound of the sea on the beach. It was the Inch Peninsula. I can remember the walk that we had with friends. I remember collecting mussels which we cooked that evening. By picking up those pebbles, I'm transported back to that place. It was a beautiful sunny day. It was a place where I felt really relaxed. It was a really happy time. Those stability zones are really important. We may have ideas or beliefs that we turn to, places that we go to, people that we talk to, organizations or clubs that we belong to that allow us to have that stability in our lives. So stability zones, as the title suggests, don't change. They're stable. They're people who are always there, places that are always there, things that transport us back to a time where we felt relaxed or we felt happy. So do you have any stability zones? Things that you can use to give you that feeling of stability? Nearly all the research states the importance of relatedness and connections. So who are those people you can turn to? The friends, the mentors, the supportive challengers, those who can listen without judgment. Because it's those networks and those people that are really important if we want to maintain our resilience. Try and identify your support network. Over the last few minutes, I've shared with you some tools and techniques that I use when I become anxious, things I use to develop my resilience. Now, some of these may work for you, others might not. These are tools. If they work for you, please carry on using it. If not, put it back in the toolbox and choose another one. I think resilience is a journey and not a destination.